Hey everybody, my name is Reagan Crystal. Welcome to my discussion board. So for the past week now, we've been studying Vygotsky's social cultural theory, which kind of is hard to pronounce, might be kind of hard to understand, but really once you understand the concept, it's really easy to understand and be able to eventually apply it to more of the educational field that we're all trying to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at Mason, who, like many students, myself included, is struggling with fractions. So the first question we have is, how might Vygotsky explain the role to other people in shaping Mason's math skills in the context? So the first thing we got to look at is that Vygotsky, um, he wants to focus on language, and language isn't English, Spanish. Language can just be how you communicate. Do you communicate through art? Do you communicate through discussion? Do you communicate through pictures? How do you choose to communicate? The second thing we want to look at is culture. What is your culture? For both of these, Mason, in the little paragraph, it explains that Mason's a huge basketball fan. He communicates through basketball. I'm sure he sits down, he watches the game, he obviously has learned the stats. He probably plays basketball on the side. That is not only a way he can communicate, but there's some kind of culture around that. And that's huge. And so for Vygotsky, he's saying that that is something that has shaped him, which leads us to number two, knowing Mason's behavior. How might a teacher work to improve fractions? So after seeing, okay, well, obviously basketball is a huge role, we look at his ZPD level. And his ZPD level, again, sounds really confusing, but it's just basically a scale from he knows very little to nothing to he's a master expert at the level. So Mason seems to be kind of in the middle because he understands some concepts, but not all of them. So the teacher will look at that and go, okay, this is where I can build on. And the teacher will take that ZPD level and maybe give him extra practice. In this situation, teaching Mason that basketball isn't just a game, but it can teach him about fractions, because one of the hardest things I think teachers have to do is to be able to teach students that fractions aren't just hard math equations on homework because we want you to stay up all night doing it, but fractions can be in the real world. They are basketball. He was saying that he shot 8 out of 11 last week. Well, that's a fraction. That's 8 over 11, and being able to use that as an example. Maybe pulling up his favorite, players' stats, putting those in fractions and teaching him, LeBron James shot this for this. That is a fraction. We can put it here compared to this player who shot this over this. And getting a way for him to interact with the fractions and be able to learn them properly would be the best way to teach Mason about fractions and really better his understanding of math, and altogether might make him a more efficient learner. All right, thank y'all. Have a great night.